My sister lost her baby 5 years ago, and now every time I talk about my current pregnancy, she butts in and brings up her miscarriage, and I don't know if I'm the jerk for wanting to ask her to stop. Posted by you/motherofthebuns. Okay, y'all, I need to know if I'm the jerk. My sister and I are 3 years apart in age. I am nearing 30, and she is nearing 33. I'd like to include a trigger warning first and foremost for child loss, infertility issues, and domestic violence. My sister and I were pregnant at the same time 5 years ago, but unfortunately my sister lost her baby to miscarriage, and I had twins. There was a weird wall between us after my kids were born, which is absolutely understandable considering the loss she experienced. After my twins turned 6 months old, my sister left the dad of her lost child and took off to another state with a much older man. This man regularly assaulted her physically. She finally had enough, and my parents borrowed my car to drive and get her after her boyfriend tried strangling her. She has been home for about a month after not speaking to any of us for the few years she has been gone, even though we've tried. Our parents have spent the entire time getting her taken care of, getting her in therapy, and replacing her belongings. Before she came home, my partner and I had been trying to get pregnant again. We found out 3 weeks ago that I'm pregnant again, which is very exciting since we've struggled to do so this far. Right after I announced my pregnancy, my sister followed up with the fact that she may also be pregnant, by her abuser. She recently disclosed that she is not pregnant, however, not due to loss, simply is not pregnant. On Mother's Day, we all had breakfast together with my mother-in-law and sister-in-law. My mother-in-law was talking about how excited she is for the baby and asking the usual pregnancy questions. Am I hoping for a boy or a girl? Am I feeling sick at all? My sister butts into the conversation and starts talking about how hard Mother's Day is for her due to the loss of her child. Mind you, this loss happened nearly 5 years ago. I told her it will be okay, and it's understandable that it is hard for her, but it's good just to stay optimistic and focus on the future. My mother-in-law was very uncomfortable, as this came out of nowhere and she does not know my sister well. Today, I was sitting and talking with my family about my pregnancy, and I asked my sister if she wanted to come with me for my ultrasound tomorrow, and she asked my mom to tell me why she can't go with me. My mom, in front of both of us, tells me my sister is uncomfortable doing anything baby-related with me, which I said was fine and not a big deal since my mother-in-law is coming with me anyways. This actually peeved me a lot. This is supposed to be a really happy time for me, but it feels like any time I bring it up, my sister throws her miscarriage into the conversation. The entire topic makes me extremely uncomfortable considering I'm not to the point of viability in my pregnancy, and I am still at risk for a loss. And overall, I feel like she is making my pregnancy about her. Am I the jerk if I bring it up to her and ask her to not speak about her miscarriage when I'm talking about my pregnancy? I understand the loss she experienced was devastating and the last few years in relationship was horrible, but it feels like she is trying to take the shine away from me due to something that happened 5 years ago. My sister brings up her miscarriage from 5 years ago anytime anyone talks about my current pregnancy. Relevant comments. Ops response: I understand that 100%, and in no way am I trying to downplay her experiences. I've also been in a mistreating relationship, so I totally get it. I'm not sure what type of wording I'm supposed to use to describe it because you can't describe how terrifying and yes, horrible it is. And yes, I believe a miscarriage from 5 years ago shouldn't hold her back from enjoying life and being happy for others. There is trauma, but there is also a point where that trauma becomes a crutch and not an explanation. It also shouldn't be a means to drag a conversation down when someone else is happy about something. There is a difference between speaking on your trauma and using it as a means to diminish someone else enjoying something because you lost yours. There are also times and places to speak on it, which we have together multiple times since she has been home. Ops response: I have held my sister while she sobbed multiple times since she's been home. I have checked in with her, spent nearly $1,000 on a shopping spree so she could feel more normal and regulated while she goes through this transition in life. I held her when she lost her baby and gave her the space she needed when I was pregnant with my twins. I don't think asking for her to not bring up miscarriage every time someone talks about my pregnancy is inappropriate, cruel, or mean. Am I not allowed to be happy about my pregnancy because she miscarried? Is everyone supposed to be comfortable with her bringing it up when talking to me about my pregnancy, even when they hardly know her? Is she supposed to live in her trauma every single day for the rest of her life, unable to cope or at the very least remove herself from what is triggering her? You can call me a sociopath, but to me it's enabling the cycle of trauma to continue consuming her and her trauma taking away from other people's happiness, and I'm not talking about just mine. My mother-in-law doesn't need to feel uncomfortable talking about her new grandchild. I am allowed to ask for boundaries and have them be respected. Ops response: I agree. We all have collectively made it a point to ensure she sees love, feels love, and knows love is around her. It's been pretty much everyone's focus, including mine, to make sure she knows we love her. Which is why I asked her if she wanted to come with me in the first place, so she could feel included in it, and maybe that was a lapse in my judgment. I commented below explaining what I've done since she's been home. I don't expect her to have her traumas resolved overnight, or ever really, because that's not how trauma works. But there is a point where I shouldn't feel like I'm walking on eggshells to be happy about my pregnancy, and I should also be able to put up my own boundaries. I also shouldn't expect other people to be comfortable with the subject, like my mother-in-law who also suffered multiple losses in her life. I'm always open to being her shoulder to cry on, and I'll do whatever I can to ensure she knows that she is loved, but my love and joy for things in my life shouldn't be silenced or diminished due to her losses. That isn't fair for me or my family. Ops response: we talk all the time, especially about everything she has been through over the last few years. A lot, actually. It's something we talk about pretty much every time we see each other. We're a very emotionally open family, but my hang-up and fear about bringing this up is that the mistreatment is so raw, so she's not mentally together completely, and I don't want her to feel like it's an attack on her or me trying to silence her traumas, but I also need that shared space for my joys and fears of this pregnancy. I want to suggest that maybe finding times it's appropriate to talk about it to be open, but maybe remove herself when it isn't appropriate. I'm very receptive and wouldn't take offense to it at all, but it's hard to talk to my family about my pregnancy with the looming fear that I'm going to set my sister off. We should be able to both have our feelings, but know the time and place to bring certain things up. I wouldn't dare talk about my pregnancy when the moment is about her loss, because that's her time to shine and be heard. All I can ask for is the other side of that same coin. Ops response: that's the struggle I'm having myself, because I honestly don't know. I think the route I'm going to take is to just not talk about my pregnancy. The feedback I've gotten here makes me feel like I'm being selfish. Her situation is more important, so I will retain my joy for when she isn't nearby so I don't open the door for her to bring up her miscarriage and to not trigger her grief. Hopefully the therapy helps and she starts healing. It's nice having her back, and I want her to be there for the happy moments, but she may need to miss out on the baby events as well if she is unable to cope with it, which breaks my heart, but she will move at her own pace. Update, same post. I decided to address it with my parents and ask how we can go about it. When I was talking to them, my mom let me know she already talked to her about it. I'd like to clarify something. I would not speak to my sister about my pregnancy directly. These instances were all in group settings when I was talking to someone else, which is why it's so unavoidable to talk about and inappropriate to silence my entire family from talking about it for my sister's comfort. After talking with my parents and learning my mom already spoke to her about it, my mom brought up a situation where my sister did this when I wasn't present with an acquaintance of my mom's who has suffered with infertility for many years and became extremely upset and triggered after my sister brought up her miscarriage when the topic was originally about her trying to conceive again. My mom has had a few people come to her and tell her that it makes them uncomfortable when they are sharing joy over the news of my baby, just for it to be brought down by the miscarriage. My mom and dad talked to her and asked her to step away from conversations that may trigger her, as it is an unavoidable topic with everyone in our lives. My sister got insurance, so she is now scheduled to go to therapy. My parents agreed that it isn't fair for me to bury my joy to eggshell around my sister's trauma, and my sister agreed that walking away is a good idea. I took my sister to lunch, and we talked about it all, and she apologized for bringing it up so often, and let me know it's because she's having a hard time. I told her that I understand and I'm always here for her to talk to about it, and that it just needs to be when the moment can be and is hers, that way she is 100% heard and the focus isn't on my pregnancy. She agreed with that, and we talked the entire time about it. She also said that it's hard to transition from being the primary focus with her coming home to it being split due to the pregnancy, so she brought up the miscarriage as a way for people to recall she was there, which she recognized was wrong on her part. All is well, and she is looking forward to therapy, and she got a part-time job with a family friend because she's tired of being cooped up at my parents' house, which is great progress in moving forward.